All right, we're going to look at a foam rolling series here. Foam rolling is a way to do self-massage or self-tissue therapy. Basically, you want a foam roller. They come in a couple different sizes. They've got the 3-foot long ones. You can also get them in 1-foot segments. I like the longer one because it's a little bit easier to lay down on to do some of the back stretches and things like that. But basically, you want a foam roller. They come in different densities. I like the higher density ones that are a little bit harder. They tend to get into the muscles and the tissue a little bit more than some of the softer ones. So with the foam roller, there's a full body foam rolling series that I'll do periodically as part of a warm-up prior to working out, or if my muscles are just kind of feeling a little bit tight or whatnot. I generally start with the top of the body and work my way down to the bottom. So generally what I'm going to start with is some upper back foam rolling. To do this, what you're going to do is lay down, and I usually start with the tip of my shoulder blades right on top of the foam roller. Then I just kind of bridge up. I always fold my arms over my chest to stretch out my shoulder blades and expose those muscles a little bit more. Then I usually roll from the top of the shoulders all the way down to about the mid-back and then back up. If I want a little bit more intensity on one side, I'll just shift over to one side and I'll hit that side a little bit harder. And then if I want to hit the other side, I'll just roll over to the other side and hit that a little bit harder. But basically with the foam rolling, I tend to do about 10 to 20 passes on the foam roller. If I'm really stiff or sore, I'll maybe do 30 to 50, just kind of depending on what I have time for. So I generally start with the upper back foam rolling. And then the next muscle group that I'll move on to is the lats down here on the side. This can be quite painful if you've never done it. But what I'm going to do is lay down on my side, put the foam roller right underneath the armpit. Then I'm going to use this hand on one of my feet just to kind of support my weight and just put as much as I can stand on the foam roller. Then I'm just going to roll up and down on that side, make sure I hit the lat muscle. Again, you can change positions a little bit depending on where the muscle is, or if you feel some trigger points or some hot spots on the muscle, you can sit on those for a minute and then roll those out. So generally, again, about 10 to 20 passes, or sometimes up to 30 or 50 I'll do for the muscles, and then I'll hit both sides, of course. But this is how I'll roll out the lat muscle right on the side underneath the armpit. The next one, I'll move on to the lower back. When I roll the lower back, I never lay directly on the foam roller with my spine. What I'll do is I'll turn to the side, and I'll get the left side first, and then after I roll out one side, I'll shift over to the other, and then I'll roll out that lower back. I don't want my spine directly on top of the roller or any of the tips of the vertebrae exposed to the roller, so I always make sure that the spine is never directly on the foam roller itself. So again, I start with the upper back, I move on to the lats, then I move down to the lower back. So once I've rolled out the back, sometimes, and this is where having a 3-foot roller comes in handy, sometimes I'll lay on the foam roller a long ways, putting the tip of my tailbone on the roller. I'll lay down like this, and I'll just lay here and kind of let my back stretch out a little bit. And then I'll shift to one side and let the muscles on one side of the spine just kind of stretch out over the roller. And then I'll roll over to the other side, and I'll let those muscles stretch out a little bit too. So that is something that I'll do sometimes if my back's really stiff or sore. I find that helps a little bit. And then after I've taken care of the back, I'll generally move on down to the glutes. To roll out the glutes, what we're going to do is set one of the glute muscles on the roller. That same side, I'm going to cross that leg over the top of the other leg. So I'm going to use the foot of the side that is not being rolled out, and then the hand of the arm that's behind the body here, and I'm going to roll up and down on that glute muscle. Again, I can shift side to side a little bit to hit all aspects of the muscle. And if I find a hot spot or a trigger point or someplace that really hurts, I'm just going to sit on that and rest for about 10 to 20 seconds or so, and you'll feel a little bit of a release in that area, and then I'll start rolling above and below it again. But this is the position that I'm going to be in to roll out the glutes. And obviously you want to do both sides. Again, you just cross the leg up of the side that you're rolling on over the other leg. Put as much of your weight as you can stand on the roller, and then just roll it out. And the more you do this, the more accustomed you'll be to the movements. Your tissue will get healthier, the muscles will feel better, and won't hurt as bad every successive time that you do the foam rolling. So we've covered the upper back, the lower back, the lats. The glutes, now we're going to look at the IT band, the muscle that runs down the lateral part of the leg. For this, what we're going to do is lay on our side. All right, the down leg is going to be extended straight. The top leg is going to be crossed up and over. So this is the foot that we're going to use for control of this movement. Then we're going to use the arm and the hand of both arms and hands for the support as well. I'm going to pick that bottom leg up, and I'm going to roll all the way from the hip joint all the way down to the knee joint, and then back up. And again, I can roll to the front a little bit, I can roll to the side, just depending on where I'm feeling a little bit of pain in the muscle. But I'm just going to roll from the hip joint to the knee joint, at least 10 to 20 times, but as many as 30 to 50 sometime. And then always be sure to do the other side. So that's the IT band, it's the lateral part of the leg. Then we're going to move on to the quad and the hip flexor. To get the quad and the hip flexor, I like to use the end of the roller. I'm going to get down on my hands and forearms, put the quad that I'm going to roll out on top of the roller, and then use the other leg to manipulate the muscle up and down. I'm going to roll from the hip joint, get up near the hip flexor, and then I'm going to work my way down, all the way down to the top of the knee. If I want to get the inner part of the quad, I just turn to the inside part of the leg and roll up and down. If I want to get the outer part of the quad, I just kind of roll over to the other side, and obviously you can get the middle part as well. Again, you just want to play with the positioning of the muscle on top of the roller, find the areas that are sore or hurt the most, and just kind of work those out. Again, as little as 10 to 20 reps at least, but sometimes 30 to 50 depending on what you have time for. So we've covered the entire back, the glutes, the IT band, the quad, and the hip flexor. Now we're going to look at rolling out the hamstring. Again, roll out the hamstring. I prefer to use the end of the roller. I'm going to put the hamstring right on top of the roller. To get a little bit more weight on there, I generally cross the other leg over the top, and I'm going to use my hands, or my arms, to pull myself up and down from the back of the knee all the way up to the hip, rolling out the hamstring. Again, just changing the position of the muscle, or the position of the leg. You can hit different aspects of the muscle. And then generally I finish up with the calves. The way to hit the calves is just like you do the hamstring. Usually start by putting my Achilles right up on top of the foam roller. Then I'm going to use my hands to support myself up, cross the leg, and then I'm going to work my way up and down the calf and just kind of roll back and forth. Again, depending on how you position your leg, you can hit different aspects of the muscle, but the minimum we want to shoot for is at least 10 to 20 repetitions, and 30 or 50 or more, especially if you got a lot of pain or your muscles are really sore. This really helps out a lot. Again, should only take you about 5 to 10 minutes. I usually do it prior to the beginning of the workout just to get the muscles loosened up, get my circulation going, or on non-workout days I may do this for about 5 or 10 minutes just to help loosen up and feel better. It definitely doesn't take the place of deep tissue or sports massage or something a little bit more specific like that, but it's something that you can do on your own to help maintain tissue health. So that is the foam rolling series that I generally do. Like I said, usually prior to the beginning of the workout for a bit of a warm-up. On off days I might do it a little bit longer just to feel a little bit better and to loosen up.